Yay.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, is not the Wolf of Roto Street himself. It is CJay. He is covering because the Wolf had some unexpected things happen. The way I understand it, somebody came over to sign some papers. I don't fully understand the ins and the outs of this.
I think it was the wedding that he orchestrated.
Like the one that he was officiating?
I think so. I think they're back from their honeymoon and now they're having a little celebration at the house. So
well, anyway, shots ensued, and last I heard, the Wolf was too wrecked to come on the air. But luckily, CJay was ready to pick up the mantle, and here we are. I skipped my normal opening just because I'm so rattled. This is the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal. We're paving your way to fantasy excellence, acting as your lead blocker to fantasy glory, and making all your football-related fantasies come true. And here we are, and we have got ourselves a decent Sunday night football game. We're actually starting earlier than usual because CJay has got an obligation starting at 8 o'clock, and that, of course, is season 5 of Yellowstone. You pretty fired up about that?
I cannot wait. I mean, I'm coming off 1883, which I think is better than Yellowstone for the people that don't have brains. Oh, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, blah, blah. But now it's going to be season 5 Yellowstone, which is going to lead into 1923. I mean, I love the guy that created Yellowstone. He's creating that. He's creating 1883. He's doing Yellowstone. He's doing 1923.
He's just picking dates at random, basically, and putting people like in the West in cowboy-like situations.
No, and the best part is that he puts himself into everything, but the most minute characters that he's just like, he'll just be a good guy at the bar, and he like puts himself in a way bigger position than he needs to be. He loves being a cowboy is my favorite thing. Like he's always like strapped up like a real cowboy.
Who doesn't love being a cowboy? Talk about like a great gig, just printing your own money, just being like, I'm just going to throw a random date out there, create a show, and just watch the money roll in. So
and then I'm going to put myself in and pretend I'm like a kind of a main character, but I'm not.
And I'm going to put myself in. So we don't know what kind of a crowd we're going to have tonight because we're going like half an hour early, but we figured better early than never. If you could give us a like, if you could give us a subscribe, we are getting extremely close to 3,000, actually. We're making pretty serious progress, so jump on board. If you're new to the group, obviously we answer our questions at the end. We're going to be going through this pretty quick because, like I said, CJay's got a hard deadline, and I don't mean like the hard deadline of kickoff that we used to try to abide by. I mean Yellowstone, so we got our priorities in order. Let's get into it. We had a pretty interesting day of football, and when I say pretty interesting, most of it, at least at 1 o'clock, was pretty lousy. We did have one absolutely incredible game, which you would have to see to believe. That, of course, was the Vikings, who were, 7-1 going into the game. I've never believed in them all year. The Bills, who kind of are like an underachieving 6-2, and you couldn't give this game away at the end. The Vikings end up coming away in overtime. Did you watch this thing as it played out at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I watched on you said Yellowstone.
So right. We know what you're thinking about.
On Red Zone. I mean, Justin Jefferson's catch on 4th and 18. Is that not the catch of all? I think that's the best catch in the history of the NFL, considering the circumstances. I know it's not the Super Bowl or anything, but like 4th and 18, that makes Odell Beckham's catch look like a little child's play.
That's so funny you said that because I said essentially exactly the same thing. Like to a couple people.
That's all I thought of is that like
I was like, that's so much better of a catch than the OBJ catch.
OBJ gets. we can just go on tangents because we have like 4 questions. So we can talk about whatever.
Right.
OBJ, honestly, that catch is now made by like high schoolers every single weekend. Like,
he dined out on that catch for like 8 years.
Because he was the first person with like actual sticky gloves or something.
Right. Now everybody does. Now if you go on TikTok now, like you could probably find, if you just put in one-handed catch, you could probably find 20 guys just boom, boom, boom.
That you're a Western Mass guy. That happens at like Amherst High School every other weekend at this point.
Love Amherst High School. Anyway, so here's some of the Lions and the Bears had a pretty exciting game, which essentially came down to the fact that I think the Bears kicker missed an extra point down the stretch. But that should not take away from Justin Fields, who had another ho-hum passing day, like I think 12 for 20. He did have a couple touchdowns and one pretty bad pick, but decently efficient passing game. And then, proceeded to run for like 150 yards, something like that, and another couple touchdowns.
Are you guys ready to call me that I was right about Justin Fields? All right.
He's become an extremely solid fantasy weapon.
And it's not about fantasy. I think he's the best quarterback in his class, as I said for a long time.
Who else in his class? What's his class?
Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, the rest of that crew.
I'm 100% with you on that. Yes. And yeah, so I guess I got to eat a little crow. All
Justin Fields needed was an offensive coordinator or a head coach to have a brain and be like, oh, we watched like 5 minutes of Ohio State tape to see what he's good at. He's not some drop back passer like Matt Stafford or whatever, like Peyton Manning, who's going to like sit there in his pocket for 40 times a game. Like he needs to run the ball. He needs to do whatever. And he's finally getting it.
You suggesting like Charles Nagy wasn't up to the task?
Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy. Chuck is what we call him. Chuck Matt Nagy.
Chuck Nagy.
I knew it was Nagy. I figured I would try. But even his common first name. His like
current OC though. His current OC. It took him 7 weeks to figure it out. It's like, get him out of the pocket, like do some zone read, and that's what he does well.
He's run for like 320 yards over the last couple games, so good for him. It was incredible. And, ordinarily Pat Mahomes would have had the best QB game, but no, because Fields, we were 150 yards. The Wolf talks about Konami upside all the time. There's just 15 bonus points plus a couple extra touchdowns. He scored 27 points just on the ground. That's pretty nasty. Anyway, speaking of guys that scored on the ground, Jeff Wilson, who we really love on this particular show, thriving in the Dolphins offense. He put up his best stat game of the year in his second contest with the Dolphins. He went over 100 yards. He scored a touchdown. I think he had 119 and a score. And Mostert got some Craig Sarno just put Charles Nagy in the comments, the old Indians pitcher. I knew I didn't pull the name Charles Nagy out of nowhere. I knew there was a Charles Nagy. Yes, Craig. That's who I was thinking of. Anyway, Wilson, 119 yards and a touchdown. And Mostert got some actual carries in this game too, right? It wasn't just the Wilson show.
No, Mostert scored. Actually, right. I texted my friend who listened to Wolf, and he was shitting on me. He goes, earlier in the week, he's like, Donta Foreman or Jeff Wilson? And I was like, oh, just go with Wolf and do Jeff Wilson. And obviously, Donta Foreman goes off. And then I texted him right at the beginning. I go, oh, I thought like the Miami running back who scored was Jeff Wilson. It was definitely Mostert.
Yeah.
he goes, oh, thanks for like for doing that to me.
I feel like that. Miami kind of looks like maybe a contender these days. I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun, but
now that Buffalo lost, the AFC East is anyone's.
Also, the Jets are like 6-3, right?
Except for the Patriots.
That's right. Anybody except the Mac Jones-led Patriots. One other guy I want to mention as far as just stand up, Justin Jefferson in that game that we alluded to, just a vacuum cleaner. 10 catches on 11 targets, 193 yards, including like the best catch we ever saw, like we mentioned earlier. And just like everything down the stretch, just incredible. Just seemed like they went to him, and was just such an easy. He was just there all the time. He was open all the time, even when he wasn't. He was hauling it in. So great performance from him. We're going to get into standout quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end stats in just a second. We do want to talk about our new sponsor real quick, Bettle. CJ, you told me that you awoke this morning and you had been challenged many, many times on this particular app. What's going on?
Yeah, so basically, if you're not in a fantasy league with anyone, like you're in your fantasy league with your friends and everything else, and then you can put out a link, or it's kind of like Tinder where you see a lineup and you swipe right, swipe left if you like it or not. I got challenged by four or five guys. That means my lineup probably sucks.
They like what they see, right?
Yeah, exactly. They like what they saw, and they were like, "Oh, we'll challenge him for money because his team sucks." So I swiped right at me. I woke up with at least, I think it was 4 times, $10 a piece. Not bad. We took it light. But yeah, we're doing a $25 match on Wolf's. I think only Wolf's obviously hogging it, but it should be a Roto Street thing. We should be able to all get our own links.
We should, honestly. Like, if you really want like someone to challenge, you should take me on.
Yeah, I know.
If you want to make some real money.
Hey, maybe we get Campanelli with his own link. I see him in here.
I know he wants some. He totally wants some. Don't worry, you're going to be on in just a few minutes, Dave. Free $25 sign up credit on Bettle. And also, if you refer and challenge your friends, you get $10 for anyone new who joins. This is a new app, and that's kind of part of the deal. They're trying to like get people in on the ground floor, so they appreciate the feedback and everything like that. But it's a really cool idea, challenging people, like trying to prove you're the man or the woman, depending on.
Yeah, you don't even need to do the wolf thing. If you don't want to play the wolf, that's fine. Like I woke up against like random people. I'm like, who are these guys?
Yep.
It just I woke up. It was like Cooper Cup fucks, like just like random screen names, being like, hey, I want to challenge you. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Although if you could get the wolf to play you now, you would definitely win. I would love it if there was a live video feed of the wolf right now, because I'll bet.
Oh, he'd be starting like Trey Lance at quarterback. Like who knows at this point?
Martavis Bryant.
Yeah, Martavis Bryant. It's just the Wolves all-stars.
God. Anyway, here we go. Ethan John just posting here. Can I ask a fantasy question? Yeah, we're gonna get to you in like 20 minet's. We'll definitely get to you guys right before.
Not even 20 minutes.
Easily before kickoff. Ethan,
just put it in.
Yeah, wait, tenor. Ethan says, should I trade Lenny for Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Ayuk? Absolutely. I think
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't trade Lenny for Ramondre and Brandon Ayuk?
No, hold on. I thought it was Lenny and. Yes, I would 100% do that.
I don't know if he's done or not, Ethan. I like Lenny a lot, but I mean, Rachaad White is definitely a solid player, and I like Ramondre and Brandon Ayuk both a lot. Neither of those guys is a throwaway.
Yeah,
so
even
I really
if
like
Lenny was healthy, I would go Rachaad White because he started today and he had like 20 plus carries. Even
120 yards, something like that.
Even if Lenny is healthy, he's still going to get a shared backfield. So
yeah, I would take that trade even if Lenny was healthy, Ethan. Hope that helps. Just my opinion. All right, let's get into some standout stats of the day. Let's go quarterbacks. Pat Mahomes, like I said, if not for Justin Fields, 26 out of 35, 339 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick, 7 rushes for 39 yards. That is an unbelievable fantasy performance. But he played second fiddle to Justin Fields. Like I said, 160 yards passing, but 147 yards on the ground and another couple touchdowns. Pretty incredible. We did not have any huge standout negative quarterbacks, although as of the 4:00 games, Aaron Rodgers, he had like 107 yards going into the fourth quarter. So our stat lines are incomplete. Possibly you'd throw him in there. Although
he just hit Christian Watson for his 3rd touchdown today. I don't want to talk about it.
Christian Watson has 3 touchdowns.
A rival of ours, D-Bro, had Christian Watson going off today has 3 touchdowns. So I don't.
Wow. Okay. Well, then scratch it. Then no quarterbacks had horrible weeks. At least no quarterbacks you thought might do well, I guess. All right, let's get into running backs. We already talked about Jeff Wilson. Saquon, 35 carries. Jesus.
I mean, yeah, but that's a Texans thing. Like, so
yeah, it's a Texans thing.
Every single time you go into Texans, you need to give your running back at least 25 carries. He's going to go over at 120, and that's just a lock.
Right. I mean, Saquon, he only averaged like 4 and change a carry, but 152 yards and a touchdown. He had 1 catch for 8 yards. Big fantasy game, but like you said, that's the Texans game script. Dalvin Cook in that amazing Texans-Bills game we talked about, he had 14 rushes for 119 yards. I mean, that's, 8.5 yards a clip, not too bad. He also had a touchdown, 3 catches for 27 yards. Big game from him. With 5 minutes left in the Colts game, I do not know the final stat line for Jonathan Taylor. He ran 22 times for $147 and had a touchdown. So getting the full workload back for him. And
but that's kind of what me and Wolf talked about this morning, is that Jeff Saturday is such like that fan, like where he's just going to be like, hey, pound the rock. I'm an offensive lineman. Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's exactly what he is.
I've never coached before, but like, let's pound the rock.
Let's just give honestly, like coaches overthink things. And
that's true.
It's just like, hey, let's give the ball to our best player and see what he does.
You're right. Absolutely. I mean, possibly they just need somebody
It makes me think of like how simple coaching is, and coaches fuck up all the time. But you just like grab this guy who's smart. Obviously, he's a
Going on just like a little tangent about coaches fucking up all the time, but we've seen this mistake so many times. Just getting back to that Buffalo Vikings game real quick. Why the hell did the Vikings drop back into prevent defense? Been said before that drive, I was like, they're not going to drop into prevent, are they? And they totally did. It was just like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Did you have the same thought?
Of course. So me and my dad have this weekly conversation because right now I'm just like anti Bill Belichick, and he's just like that old school guy who's like the Patriots lifelong fan. So he like loves Belichick, loves everything. And I'm like, he kind of stinks. Like he's fucked up so many drafts, whatever. And I had like Justin Fields. I'm an Ohio State guy. So I'm like, you always should have drafted Justin Fields over Mac Jones. And then all of a sudden we were having like this argument, Justin Fields is better than Mac Jones. What the fuck, blah, blah. Again, I'm right. And then he goes, why the fuck do they always live prevent defense? He just like completely sidetracked, and then we both agreed on it right away. And I was like, because that's what loser coaches do all the time.
It was insane.
all you have to do is just play normal the entire game. Just play what you were playing the entire game, and you're fine. You're not going to get beat deep. You're going to be fine.
Right. It was crazy. It was like, all right,
The
so
one thing
we got to hold
on
them for like 27 seconds. Let's give up like 3 20-yard chunk plays. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, let's just make sure we don't give up the 80, but let's give up like the 60.
Right. When all they need is a field goal, by the way. Anyway.
Exactly.
Right. All right. Anyway, let's get into negative running backs real quick. Alvin Kamara, 8 rushes, 26 yards, 3 catches for 19 yards. That was a pretty disgusting game. I didn't watch any of that game, but the stat line was not encouraging. Kareem Hunt, not to be outdone, 6 rushes for 9 yards, 1 catch for 10. That was a pretty awful game. The Browns looked pretty crappy all game.
Yeah, we told Prize Pick Heggs, who's in the waiting to be on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about Jalen Warren or Kareem Hunt, and me and Wolf said Kareem Hunt. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that he's going to be letting you hear about that in a second. All right, he'll be on in just a minute. David Montgomery, 9 rushes for 37, 1 catch for 7 yards. You don't need him though, because you already got the best running back in the league, and it happens to be Justin Fields. And did Clyde Edwards-Helaire play?
No.
Okay.
Well, he did. He just sat on the sidelines.
Okay. I mean, like he was on the roster and everything.
Yeah, he was. He was on the game day roster.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, he didn't do much, as in literally nothing. All right. Wide receivers, positive. Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's a couple guys that had better games than him, but I'm putting him on here because he has been underwhelming recently. Mitch Chavez specifically asked us, do we trust him more than a couple key guys? We liked him a lot. He had 10 catches for $119 on 11 targets. Justin Jefferson, we already talked about. Christian Kirk, 9 catches for 105 yards, 2 scores on 12 targets. Stephon Diggs, not to be outdone by Jefferson on the other side of the ball, had 12 catches on 16 targets for 128 yards. And also, household name Nick Westbrook, 5 catches for 119 yards and 2 scores. CJ is going to be talking about him on the waiver wire in just a second. Negative receiver lines. Chase Claypool. Everybody's waiting to see him light it up with the Bears. Well, you're going to be waiting at least another week. 1 catch for 8 yards. Nothing to get too excited about. Alan Lazard had 1 catch for 0 yards at the end of the third quarter. Of course, I have no idea what's happened in that game. Clearly, it's the Christian Watson show. I don't know if Lazard has done anything to redeem himself since then. And also, early in the fourth quarter, Cooper Kupp had 3 catches for -1 yards. I remember back when DeAndre Hopkins was on the Texans, I used to say he was quarterback proof, and then Brock Osweiler came around, and I was like, oh, right, I guess he's not quarterback proof. Seems to me like we found the one guy who could destroy Cooper Kupp's career. Is that what you say that's accurate? 3 catches, -1 yards?
Cooper Kupp actually just got hurt, like maybe severely injured. Yeah.
What?
Maybe. So he's out with the rest of the game with ankle injury. Maybe I'm not gonna say he's out for the rest of the season, but it looked bad.
That makes me feel absolutely terrible, for many, many reasons. But wow, that's just a real shame. I hope he's okay. His stat line was abysmal. I blame it on this quarterback, of course. Hopefully Cooper Kupp will be fine. Tight ends, positive. Cole Kmet, 4 catches for 74 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he has like 5 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, something like that, which is insane. Travis Kelce had his typical very good game, 6 for 81 and a touchdown. Taysom Hill lighting it up on the negative side, 0 catches, and he rushed 3 times for 1 yard. And also Greg Dulcich, who a lot of people are trying to say was a good play, 1 catch for 11 yards. Not so much. Those are our stats that we wanted to emphasize. Injuries. CJ just mentioned Cooper Kupp. I don't have any information about it, but hopefully he's okay.
No, he's doubtful to return. I don't know if the game's over. I don't have a TV right now. I'm in my other bedroom, so I can't see.
I also don't have a TV. This is all we got right here, folks. When Roto Street Journal gets
maybe
bigger,
one of our columns has more information, but
we're hoping that Dave or Higgs will help us out with that. But when Roto Street Journal takes off, we're going to have TVs all over the place, folks. We're just going to be like the most well-informed pod that you've ever listened to.
Have you seen that video where the guy goes to his girlfriend? He's on Tuesday night and he's like, hey, it's Tuesday night football, but I'm going to take you out for a date. Blah, blah,
yes,
blah.
I have.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Like I was like, hey, I'm gonna do a show. You can take care of the TV right now. It's like John Wolford against Colt McCoy.
You're so sporty. You know what? I don't even need to watch this Wolford.
You know, we're gonna watch Yellowstone at 8:00. You know,
Tune says it's 28-28 going into overtime. By the way, fantastic.
The Cardinals game or the Cowboys game?
Probably the Packers. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's nice of you to forfeit the TV for the Wolford McCoy showdown. last thing on injuries, Juju Smith-Schuster got knocked the F out at one point. And, he did walk. I was going to say he walked off the field, but he kind of staggered off the field, being helped by a couple of people. Obviously, we won't see him for a little while if they're taking this concussion protocol seriously, because he really got lit up. So that's injuries. We're going to get right into the early waiver wire so we can hit the mailbag and talk to a couple guys that we got waiting on video chat. You want to get into waiver wire real quick, CJ?
Yeah, I mean, the waiver wire isn't much. It's not going to be cut. It's not going to be – I feel bad for Jimmy because he writes our waiver wire piece. Rachaad White is probably – Rachaad White's probably the only one that's, like, really worth your fab. Leonard Fournette hurt his hip. We don't even know the real seriousness about that, but he never returned to the game. He balled out. He played 20 of 25 snaps after the Fournette injury. Finished with 105 yards and 22 attempts. Wolf has been talking about him for weeks now. Rachaad White is your real main pickup, but outside of that, there's not much. We have Gus Edwards, who's actually under 50%. How do you feel about Gus Edwards? Are you after he returns? Do you do anything?
So I'm pretty much on record as saying I always hate the Ravens backfield. I don't know. The
only thing about Gus Edwards, though, he's 47% owned. When him and Kenny and Drake have been together, they've always favored Gus Edwards. They acted like he was like a bell cow for some reason.
They did act like that. I even put a bid on him a couple weeks ago. So it's like I'm saying I don't trust him, and I still tried to pick him up. I'm not in love with him, but given what's on the waiver wire right now, and given the running back state that a lot of people have got going on, I would not blame someone if they took a stab at Gus Edwards. I'm not going to pretend I'm crazy about him, but yeah, sure.
There's DPJ, who's 35% owned. He had a
good game.
He had another 9 targets today, had almost 100 yards.
Yep.
Also has Watson coming back in 2 weeks. MVS with the Juju injury had a touchdown, 60 yards.
Yep.
Kmet, who's 60% owned, so I don't know if he's owned on your waiver wire. Tight end position is always gross, but he had 2 touchdowns. And then Daniel Jones, streamer against the Lions next week. And I'm not going to talk about this is a Wolf thing. I'm not talking about Nick Westbrook-Ikhine.
we can talk about the fact that he had
actually let's talk about
surprisingly good game, right?
Let's talk about for the next 45 minutes.
Right. Guys waiting on video chat, you're going to have to wait 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine scored twice today.
By the way, Denny Jennings just validated my Alan Lazard take. 2 receptions, 9 yards. Thank you, Denny.
And me and Prize Pick Eggs had Lazard for over 4.5 receptions. That's not working out well.
Lazard's a starter on my absolutely terrible fantasy team, so I can't really say anything bad about that. All right, so that's our waiver wire, guys. We told you we were flying through this thing because we got Yellowstone, and we also got 2 guys waiting to video chat with us real quick. Let's hit Dave real fast, and then let's get Hegs on here because I've heard we got some serious prize pick props going on. We'd love to talk about those, and then hit the small mailbag before we got to go. So you want to let Dave in? You know how to operate those controls?
Yep.
Matt,
what's up? Let's do a threesome 1 second.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Woo. All right. CJ, great looking at that mug again today after this morning. We live for the sexiness. Truth.
Feeling the same way.
Truth.
On truly number 11 right now, but I'm at least I can handle myself. I'm fucking trick.
I have no idea.
Guy takes 1 shot and he's on the live stream.
I just have this image of Trey Koff lying over a recliner.
Let's wait till Truth has his first beer on Thanksgiving. Okay, we're gonna see this guy passed out in the middle of freaking 91 somewhere.
I'm gonna tell you guys what I really think of you. Once I got a few of those.
Hold on 1 second. But one thing about Trey Koff, that he had the first shot at 4:30.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, Tans. I know Tans is Tans. So he's probably like, dude, I have that show at 8:00. I don't know if I can make it. Blah blah. Then Tans is like, come on, 2 more, and he's like, all right. And then as you progress, and then you texted him being like, hey, I have the schedule finalized. I have everything good.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh fuck it, I can't.
Yeah, like 4:30 he takes his first shot. 4:45 he officially is too drunk to go on the air.
So, Truth, we couldn't get a mush from you this week because I was unceremoniously rushed by Wolf on Thursday.
Yeah, he did. He did kind of rush.
Yeah,
you along,
he rushed me out of there, and I felt very insulted.
Sure,
it wasn't your fault, so it was Wolf.
Right.
But it was a good day, guys. I appreciate it, and I don't know. I couldn't live down missing Tuesday, so.
Well, you're here now. You're here now, and my usual co-host is not. So you've got that on him for the rest of the season.
So, Truth, do you have any player you may want us to watch out for tonight, or that antennas go up for?
Don't do Christian McCaffrey on me, please.
No, I like Christian McCaffrey a lot. So I want Debo to do really well. I really do. If you told me that Debo wasn't going to have like the blow up game that everybody thinks he's going to have, I wouldn't be totally shocked.
Honestly,
I think that the Chargers
if I were
are
a
going to get
Debo
rolled.
owner, I would trade Debo.
So Truth is usually right here. So DraftKings did this whole big thing: 4+ receptions for McCaffrey, and 4+ 3-pointers for Steph Curry tonight. Odds boost. Does McCaffrey get 4+ receptions?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Campanelli, you have a DraftKings betting account. So I have an absolute hammer play tonight. So I have a friend in West Virginia, obviously Massachusetts.
Okay.
We're not allowed to bet in Massachusetts. I have to go through my friend. So me and my friend are up $3,000 up the last few weeks. So we have right now, we're doing kind of like a little buzzed pick, but we love it. And we're doing 1 second. So
I'll say, look, Prize Picks, Bettle, the other place that you guys were sponsoring, that was a sponsor. I can't get in New Jersey, so but I can purchase chocolate covered shit in New Jersey. So,
right. Campanelli, I'm gonna buy diapers for your kid for the next 6 weeks. All right, Christian McCaffrey.
I appreciate
that. Me and my friend are doing 500 to win 3,500.
Okay.
What's the
Christian
bet?
McCaffrey touchdown. Austin Eckler touchdown. McCaffrey 65+ rushing yards. Eckler 25+ receiving yards. Josh Palmer 40+ receiving yards.
Oh wow.
CJ, can you DM that to me on Facebook? I'll follow that one.
DM your number and I'll send it to you.
You got it. Thanks, CJ. And guys, have a great one.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
And I will talk to you guys shortly.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling. See ya. All right, CJ, get the prop man in. It's 7:42. We're making good time. I hear we got some real action going on here. We got some props worth talking about. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. What's up, boys?
Hey.
Yeah.
Is this your first meeting between Truth and Hanks?
I feel like we've been on the same show before.
Yeah,
but I can't swear to it, but I'm pretty sure.
Me and Hanks had he had 36 picks this night today on Prize Picks. Not looking good today.
Yeah.
We had a rough day today, and now we're on to the night. So
we're on to Sunday Night Football. We need a little redemption, and I don't know that if fucking what's his name Gallup catches 5 more yards, we might be all right, CJ. But we'll see.
I'm focused on tonight.
Yeah,
all right,
I'm focused on. All right, so tonight I got a big one. I put a $50 one in because I'm pretty confident in it.
Okay.
I got McCaffrey over 4.5 receptions. I think he had 7 last week or something. He's just nasty. He's another week under the offense, so I think that's a lock. Eckler 41.5 receiving yards over. The Chargers kind of suck. They're going to be throwing. Eckler catches balls. Palmer, I'm not really huge on this. CJ kind of convinced me. Over 54.5 for Josh Palmer.
I like that a lot. They have who else are going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, I know.
Right. Good
Eckler,
question.
hopefully.
Right.
And then Debo is at 49.5. I think this is like his he played a game with CMC, but that was like before CMC like really got involved, I think. So, and Debo had like the hamstring, I believe. So he just had the bye week. He's healthy, 49.5. He can get that in one fucking catch. So I think that's a good play. And last but not least, the fucking best one, unbelievable, Kyle Juszczyk, over 9.5 receiving yards.
I love that.
It's literally my favorite play in the entire day.
I always think of our guy Grant. So Grant Cohn, who covers the 49ers, he's like so anti 49ers. He should be like made in Boston because he just hates the 49ers so much. He should just be like he's like the Felger of the 49ers. And he had a tweet like right when they had McCaffrey, and he goes, "I cannot wait for McCaffrey to like split out wide, Samuel to go deep, Ayuk to go deep, Kittle to raise the underneath just for Juszczyk to get like a 3-yard dump off, and he's gonna turn into like 17 yards."
It literally so it happens every week. It'll probably happen like mid-game. He'll just catch a ball for like 20 yards. He's 5 of his last 5. 34, 33, 27, 35, 24. He's just absolute money. And 9.5.
He has to get 9.5.
Yeah, he has to get 10. So,
but the thing is that he only catches one ball, and it's always for 30 yards.
Yeah, but like he's 5 out of 5. So if I mush that, then I don't know what to tell you. But Jimmy G, that pussy, is probably going to hit him for a 25-yard catch. Honorable mentions for this one. Eckler, 89.5 rush and receiving. I think that's very good because McCaffrey's rush and receiving is 119.5, which I don't hate that one either. Like he's a monster and the Chargers stink. So I think those ones are pretty good as well.
I'm with you.
And then I did a first half one too because I've become a first half guy. There are a couple good ones.
Keep going at this point.
No, I know. Well, the first half, they're pretty good. Jimmy G, over 117.5 yards. He's 4 of his last 5. He's been slinging. I hate his guts, but, I mean, you can't knock the hustle.
Why do you hate his guts?
Long story short, he was out in Boston one night when I was there. He was drinking a Corona. I went up to him and bought him a Corona. I was like, Jimmy, you're the man. Like, blah, blah, blah.
This was back when he was starting for the Patriots, though.
This was back like right after they won the Super Bowl in 2016, I think.
Okay.
Like a couple months after. So he's like, "Oh, thanks, man." And he like took the Corona from me. He had like 35 girls around him. And
sure.
I was like, "Oh, word, that's cool." Like I just bought Jimmy G a beer. I continued to get drunk, obviously. He's like, I didn't really bother him. And then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy Jimmy G another beer." So I bought him another Corona, and I walked up to him like a fanboy, and I was like, "Oh, here you go, Jimmy." And he's like, "Nah, man." Just like that. And then like every single girl around him looked at me and like nobody said anything. And then I just had to walk away in silence. And it was like the most awkward thing ever.
Tail between your legs.
Tail between my legs. Walk back to the bar and just like, I wanted to smash the bottle over his head. But
he's probably like, "Nah, I need to keep it up for the next 35 girls that I'm going to hook up with."
Yeah, and that's my hatred for him runs to back when he was a Patriots backup before he even became decent quarterback, even though he's a pussy. But 117.5, I think he can hit
that. Just a roundabout way of getting 117.5 first half. Solid. That's a pretty good story, I admit it.
We got Eckler 22.5.
Shout out Lincoln Southie.
Yeah, Lincoln Tyrant, shout out. We got Eckler at 22.5 rush or 20.5 receiving. It's pick your poison there. I mean, it's Eckler.
I feel with the Chargers though, he doesn't check down till the second half. It's usually like a rushing game in the first half, and then I'm gonna be sweating out his 40 yards receiving until the second to last drive when they're down by a touchdown, and then it's just Eckler for the next 15 plays.
Yeah. But I mean, he hasn't had a good rushing week since that week he went bananas for like 170 or whatever, which was like 4 weeks ago. So even though the Niners are good, I feel like he's due for, and it's 23 yards. He can get the rush, whatever. CMC's first half rush is 39.5.
Okay.
Also pretty good. His receiving is 18.5. That's pick your poison there, I think. Kittle 22.5. He's 4 of his last 4 for that. 23 yards for Kittle. He's been turning it up lately, obviously, so I like that one. And then Herbert, I was going to ask you guys how you feel about him. He's at 130.5 passing yards.
First half?
He's 4 of his last 5,
No,
though.
absolutely not.
I don't like it personally. You guys are better at this
either.
stuff than me, but I don't like it.
No, but it's not.
didn't like
It's,
it
it's
at
not even
all.
like a betting thing. Like I don't think I like him throwing that without Keenan, without Mike Williams. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. I didn't like it at first, but then I looked. He's 4 of his last 5, and he's surpassed it pretty easily. But I kind of don't like that. I kind of want to.
Yeah, but was his one miss last week?
No, it was 3 weeks ago versus Denver.
I would say bet the other
random.
19 and leave that one on the table.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that's right. Kittle fantasy points at 12. That's 60 yards, couple catches, whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones tonight.
That's a touchdown and like 60 yards plus.
Yeah, or he can get 70 yards and 5 catches. Isn't that right? I don't know. Whatever.
Here's one more over under. This is a hypothetical. This has nothing to do with the game tonight, but since we're on the subject, I just figured I'd put it out there. Over under 1,200 women that Jimmy G has slept with in his life, and I'm talking different women.
Oh, over.
That's honestly over
1,200.
because
yeah, I think probably so too. I just wanted to. What about 15?
Well, and being in Boston too, where where you're lucky to get a 6.5, he's probably rushed that entire city.
Dude, honestly,
actually, wait, no. The better is the the average of 6.2 for Jimmy throughout his career. I mean, he's obviously a bag full of 10s, but I think he's definitely struck below in South.
wasn't he fucking Lisa Ann at one point?
Yes.
Lisa Ann and another garbage porn star is like a 5.3.
Anyway,
no, but I would say, anyways, that number, Jimmy G could be a janitor. He's a handsome lad. He probably still would hit 1,200.
He's not an unattractive man. I mean, my wife doesn't know anything about football. As a matter of fact, I'd say my wife hates football, and she is aware of who Jimmy G is and thinks he's an attractive fellow.
Oh, he's hot as shit.
Yeah,
man. That's telling you.
Right. Have you seen those TikToks or they're all over social media where they make the quarterbacks women and they're like, how many beers would you have to have? Jimmy G is a good-looking woman too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's him and Tom Brady are the hottest ones.
Right. Obviously, it's the truth.
Hey,
all
we've been blessed.
Yes, we do have a super chat, and we got about 7 minutes before Yellowstone, CJ. So you want to hit the mailbag? Thanks a lot for all those. That was fun. Thanks for the Jimmy G story.
Go Kyle, use check.
Hey everyone, RSJ promo code Prize Picks.
Prize Picks. Let's win some money tonight and tomorrow. We'll be back after this long day. So all right, guys.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling. All right, real quick. Thanks for the super chat. $2. Sit, start, Ayuk and Devontae Smith. Half-point PPR, close one. What do you think, CJ?
Tonight, with the Chargers just being stinky, I'm going Ayuk.
I also would go Ayuk, but I agree with you that it is a close one. You know, it's not like you couldn't get burned on this, but my instinct would be to go
Yeah,
Ayuk.
honestly, I think they'll put up similar points, but I'd lean Ayuk there.
All right. Let's hit the mailbag real quick, CJ. I know you want to hit Yellowstone at 8. Craig says, sup, boys? I'm down 8 with Hurts and Debo. He has Herbert, Kittle, and San Francisco. What do you think? You think he's going to
win? Don't know there. Don't love your chances, but I do love Hurts.
I mean, Hurts could really blow up.
Yeah, you could go for 30. So
yeah.
Debo, I don't love anymore. I would like to, I want no part of Debo the rest of the season.
I agree. I would trade Debo if someone wanted him, and I love him as a player. But I would get rid of. I would get.
Me too. There's too many. CMC basically overlaps him as a player.
Agreed. Rico says Pickens or Tony rest of the season.
I love what they saw at Tony today, but Mecole Hardman's like the same exact player. I know he missed today, and that's why Tony went off, but I would go Pickens. I think him and Pickett have a connection.
Yeah. Charlie, Double dose of CJ. What a glorious Sunday. It also says it's that Jefferson catch, David Tyree in the Super Bowl, then everyone else. Yeah, it's hard
Fuck
to disagree.
that Tyree catch.
That was a great catch.
When I was that was my senior year of high school. We all had we had to buy our booze days before. We had booze for the Patriots Super Bowl for that entire week. Handles, and then they lost that game because of the Tyree catch. I'm like, oh my God.
That was brutal. I mean, if I were a Patriots, that would have been really, really hard for me if I were a Patriots fan. Ethan John says, do you guys think Damian Harris takes away too many carries from Ramondre in that trade we talked about earlier? Do you think Harris is going to – I don't think so either.
No, I'd feel great with Ramondre.
Crystal says, should I pick up Christian Watson and drop Hunt?
Fuck Christian Watson. No, I'd stick with Hunt.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean,
obviously this week would contradict that, but I agree with CJ. Devontae Smith or Curtis Samuel?
Devonta.
And let's see, 28-28. I'm just looking. These are some updates. Do you see the Ertz injury? Is it bad? Craig says Ertz got carted off. It looked bad. I've not heard anything. This guy says still debating between Ayuk and Palmer. What do you think? We're getting closer and closer to kickoff.
Palmer.
Yeah, who else are you going to throw to, like you said? Yayo 843 should have played Jeff Wilson instead of Jamal Williams. Yeah, Williams did score, but yeah, you would have gotten you more points, definitely.
Yeah, Jamal Williams still did well, though.
Toon said Dallas went for it on fourth, did not get it. Green Bay ball on their own 35, 6:15 to go. This is as we're getting close to real time here. Jeff, who's always me and the Wolf's best hype man, and obviously CJ's
also, I don't need to go. I can rewind it if we go to 8:05.
We're gonna be done on time, actually. Jeff, always pumping us up. RSJ, Wolf, Truth, CJ, Rock, Fantasy Football, hands down. Thank you so much, guys. Jeff, thank you. It's awesome when you're here. Always gasses us up a little bit. We appreciate it. Denny says Lazard just had a big game. Toon said big cats Lazard on third. And so as soon as I talk about how bad somebody is, they always light it up.
I love this play-by-play we have.
I know. This play-by-play that by the time people hear it, by the way, on the podcast is going to be at least 24 hours old. Pack win 31-28, and that's it. That's it, guys. That's the pod. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully the Wolf, will be back at some point. Hopefully he's not in the hospital with alcohol poisoning or anything like that, and he'll be back on the air shortly. But CJ, thanks for filling in last minute. We weren't expecting to do this together.
Tunes, good news for me and you. We don't have to cut the show and put it on YouTube tomorrow.
Nice. Well, thanks for filling in. Not to quote the Wolf, but in a Wolf world full of fantasy sheep, be the Wolf. We appreciate you guys showing up. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and all that good stuff. The Wolf will be back. What is it? The Waiver Show Tuesday, 7 o'clock. All right, he'll be there Tuesday, 7 o'clock. We'll see you
guys. You guys will be live on Thursday, 6:45 or 7 o'clock.
Unless the Wolf unexpectedly takes a shitload of shots, we'll be on the air.
If you guys want to talk about tight end news for at least 45 minutes, check in. If you want to hear about
the show, people, it's a pretty well watched show, but
it is. It actually bangs. It bangs on Thursday night.
But I hear where you're coming from. All right, everybody. We'll see y'all later. Enjoy Yellowstone. Enjoy the game.
Yeah. See you guys.